to see me since I've been gone. And so as these years roll on, I always come back to where I belong, my hometown. And have you noticed every way I've changed? 'Cause to me you simply stayed the same. But every time I walk away, you leave a little piece of you inside of me. It made me who I am today. My hometown life, its spirits inside. My hometown's alive and filled with the light unfaded that I created. My hometown's I walk around these streets and stare at the things that remind me of me. I take it all inside and breathe in the air that's so unclean, yet keeps me alive. My hometown's my hometown life, its spirits inside. My hometown's alive and filled with the light unfaded that I created. My hometown's alive. My hometown life. My hometown's alive. My hometown What's up, everybody? I'm Sully. Welcome back to Hometown Sessions on this fine Thursday, semi-evening for us. For some, it's probably still 3 in the afternoon on the West Coast, and it's probably, I think, midnight in Italy and 1 a.m. in Bulgaria. So there's a little sense of time for you. So I thought we should get back to just hanging out, getting caught up. I wanted to spend a little more time with you guys. I know sometimes when we have guests on, I can't really follow the comments and I have to stay engaged and try to bring you as best of an interview as I can with some of them because I know them. I know them as my friends, and they're people that I talk to, I've toured with, known for decades. But I know some of you guys only meet them through, situations like this, or you only know them really through their music or videos, stuff like that. So I think it's been kind of cool, and I'm hoping you guys have enjoyed me bringing some of my friends that I've known in the music industry on every once in a while. My friend Robert Kelly, stand-up comedian, that was pretty awesome. I know a couple people got offended because he's pretty raw and open, but that's comedy, man. And so, maybe those people just need to lighten up a little bit. Other than that, I really have enjoyed doing these shows, and I wanted to touch upon a couple of things with you guys before we get started, and then I'll start reading some of your comments. But one thing is I wanted to address, someone had wrote a minute ago, are you breaking up with us? And I'm not. It's just that right now I've been doing this now. This is our 15th episode, 15. And because I'm only doing a couple a week, it's gone on for, whatever it's been now, 2 or 3 months. And I need to write some music for you guys. And I'm really hoping, since COVID and all this craziness has hit and we're kind of being trapped and isolated to begin with, I really want to take advantage of this year to write not only a new Godsmack record, but another solo record. And I'm not sure what direction I'm going to go in yet. I'm just starting to tap into some new music. And I haven't even begun to write for Godsmack yet, but the guys are, trying to get me to go down there to Florida and kind of get the wheels spinning. And I need to do some writing up here on my own because I need to isolate a little bit in order to tap into what I'm going to write about. And also sometimes I like to go out and write with some other writers and see how they, perceive Godsmack and what the sound could be like. And I try to explore some of that stuff to get new ideas. But I do have to pause this for a minute. I'm going to try not to, by the way, but I may have to, if you don't see this every Tuesday and Thursday, it's because I'm working and I just need to be able to tackle that stuff too. So, with that being said, I know a lot of you have also asked me to allow you guys into the world as we write music, which, trust me when I tell you, if you weren't all such little rats, I would do that. But it's extremely dangerous to allow the public to watch the creative process because the songs aren't protected yet. They're certainly not finished yet, and they could easily be hijacked. So that would be bad. Not that I'm saying you're all thieves, but I am saying that that's treading very dangerous waters. And I'm a crazy perfectionist. So I really have kind of a rule that I don't allow people to hear the music I've created or the band has created until we feel we've put the stamp of approval on it and it's ready for other ears to listen to. Otherwise, we're constantly tweaking and changing, and we could really give you guys the wrong impression of a song before we've gotten, our claws deep enough into it and polish it to translate it to you exactly the way we want you to hear it. So that's a very important thing to me. And I'm pretty disciplined when it comes to that. But now that we've been doing these live streams and I'm here at, the studio where Godsmack records our music, I do feel I'm going to open up the cameras to the creative process, but just understand you're not going to be hearing songs. You're going to hear little snippets and things and discussions and maybe that kind of stuff, but you will not be hearing full songs because it's for the reasons I just explained. So, that being said, one more thing I wanted to touch on is that over the years, they have been shooting a lot of film on me for interviews with my mom, my dad, my best friends that I've grown up with, where I grew up, how I grew up. And there is a feature documentary that we've been working on that is basically going to tell my story, the story of Sully before I was signed, before all this happened, from zero to when I got a deal and how that road was traveled. It's based on my book, if any of you have read that. And I got a sneak peek at it today, the first rough cut. And it was a pretty emotional journey, so I'm feeling a little bit emotional today. They interviewed my daughter. They interviewed just about everybody who's ever been important in my life. And to hear my life story through the eyes of some other people is pretty emotional. I got teared up a few times. So it's another reason why I wanted to take today to not really bring on a guest, but just spend it with you guys. I'm not going to cut this off at 7 p.m. I want to sit here as long as I can with you guys. So we're going to probably run a little bit later if that's cool with you. And we are going to work really hard to try to get this documentary finished this year. So hopefully by the end of the year, if not top of next year, that will also come out along with some new Godsmack material and hopefully a new solo record. But I think that's all I got for now. And also today's Thursday, right? And we also talked about we're trying our best to make Thursdays more about maintenance for our health, our mental health, our well-being, and that kind of stuff. So I want to ask you guys, for one, just how things are going for you guys during all this craziness. Do you feel like we're getting to the other side of it? Are we getting over the hump? Are you feeling a little bit better health-wise? Has some of this stuff helped you guys out, giving you some of these tools and advice and experience that we've shared from some of the guests that have been on? And so maybe we'll just start there and we'll just see how stuff goes. So let's just see who comes up with the first question. You guys let me know how things are going in general, first of all. Is everybody, give me some thumbs up. Hit some thumbs up on this page. I don't see a whole lot of you hitting thumbs up on this page, by the way. We have, what do we have? Almost 500 people with us right now, and I see 63 thumbs up and a thumbs down. Whoever that jerk is, I hope they left. We don't need them. So let's see. Let's grab this one right here. Oops, can I back that up? How about Harley as a mascot for the Scars Foundation? Pitbulls have been bullied and misunderstood forever. Perfect fit. I actually just started a page. Me and Sarah started a page for Harley and Rome, and it's called Are We Stepbrothers? So you can find that on Instagram. It's new, but we're trying to feed it every day to show you the personalities of these amazing dogs called pitbulls that got such a bad rap over the years. And by the way, my theory on that is there are no bad dogs, just bad owners. So that's that. When I step away from these sessions, which I totally understand, and we need the music for our souls, will you be answering emails from the Hometown Sessions email address? Yes, what I do is I've been keeping a folder of that kind of stuff for all of the questions that I haven't answered yet, because some of them, I get a lot of repeat questions that are in the same, kind of answer. So I feel like once I've addressed that question, then I move on from that, even if a bunch of other people have sent it to me. So know that. And if you have sent in questions and I haven't answered yet, maybe you can backtrack on some of the episodes to find the answers. But I'll try to always continue to answer fresh questions and not stuff that I felt like I've already covered. So what's next here? How did Paris Visoni become your tour photographer, and will she ever appear on the show? I would love to have Paris on the show, actually. She's in Nashville right now working on a really cool campaign to help fund roadies that all of our touring crew, once all this hit and the artists have stopped touring, or can't tour, I should say. I think it's affected the crews more, and we're all trying to keep some of our guys fed with a paycheck and, until this thing passes. But there's a lot out there. And I have two right here, actually, next to me in the room right here. I should show you those guys, but if I move the camera, they're going to yell at me. So I know that she's there, and she is doing some kind of project. I'm not sure what it is yet, but maybe when she gets back, if we're still doing these episodes, which also, by the way, as the world opens back up and I go to do some different writing sessions in Nashville or LA, or even get on the road and start touring, we're going to bring this out, and we're going to try to keep this going, even if it's mobile on the road. So that's kind of cool. But I'll tell you, you guys asked for her. That's really cool. She'll appreciate that. Jeremy says that I just carried, or us, I should say, Godsmack carried him through cancer and chemo. The band is everything to me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jeremy. We appreciate that. That's what music's for, to heal. Let's see, what else do we got here? Did I hear that Steve Priest passed away from the band Sweet? I did not, but thank you for telling me that. That's sad. What do we got here? Do you guys have a fund to cover speeding tickets? I don't think the Scars Foundation covers speeding tickets, but that one's on you, buddy. Let's see. Joey wants to know, has Godsmack ever recorded a song on an album that you weren't totally thrilled with? That's a good question, man, and I'm going to tell you which one it was. My band totally disagrees with me, and a bunch of you might even disagree with me, but when we were writing I want to say it was the 4 album, we had got a call to do the Crew Fest 2, and we didn't have a current song on the radio. The record cycle was done, and we were about to enter. No, I'm sorry. We were done the 4 album. We were starting to write the Oracle, and we were just pulling a bunch of songs together, and we hadn't got the record finished yet, and we got a call to do this thing. And long story short, I'm not going to get into all those details, but we wanted to do the tour, but we couldn't do a tour without a new song on the radio, so we decided to write a one-off single, and that song was called Whiskey Hangover. And I am not a fan of the song. I just don't know why. It was I felt like there wasn't a whole lot of thought put into it. It was at that point in my life where I was drinking heavily, and so, of course, everything was pain and hangovers for me. And we knocked this thing out very quickly. Like, I think in a day we wrote this song and mixed it and threw it out on the radio, and fucking thing went #1. And I'm going like, why is that? I don't want that one to go #1, because I don't want to sing that on stage over and over and over again and honor the hits that the people ask us to play. So I really apologize to all the fans out there that have been asking us to do Whiskey Hangover. It's not on the band. It's on me. It's just not a song that I enjoy doing. I feel like it's very shallow and blah. So that's definitely one that I didn't love. And there was another song called Why that we recorded on as a one-off for an Al Pacino movie called was it called maybe it was called Bring It On. I can't remember. There was a couple in the catalog that not really fond of. Let's see. Do I still talk to Tommy Stewart? I have not talked to Tommy in a long time, man, but we're good. And I hear he's doing really well. He's a physical trainer. And I'm not really sure what else he's doing. I have not contacted him or been in contact with him for a long time, but I always wish that dude the best. He's a good guy. And I'm sure he's got a great family and a lot of cool things going on. Cynthia's asking me if I have any new music. That I've already started, and I just have little snippets of things, and all the more reason why I need to kind of move on and not be a talk show host. But I'm gonna stay here and chat with the fans, and I'm gonna maybe do more of these and not quite set up, because here's the deal. when you have a guest on, you got to do a little bit of research, and then you got to find fun questions and find a way to entertain while you're interviewing. And it's a lot of work. And that's what absorbs all the time when I'm not actually filming this episode with you guys. So it's that stuff that I got to kind of tap out a little bit on. And I will do it from time to time. It'll actually be more fun when we can get together with people, have them here or on the road and bring in a guest, or maybe do this while we're touring. If we keep this going and the show continues to grow and build an audience, then it would be even cooler to take it on the road, because then as we're playing these festivals and we have a bunch of these bands with us hanging out, we can really get, these things to go off live and be able to continue to talk with you guys with other people around me. So, what do we got next here? So I asked you guys how you're doing in general. I'm not really hearing a lot of answers right now about your mental health, your mental state of mind. Is everybody cool? Yes, thumbs up, thumbs down. A lot more thumbs up came out. That's good. We're up to 171. We only have one thumbs down. We have 576 watching. It's going up. So there should be 575 thumbs ups. Okay, let's see. Any desire to direct a movie? I have no desire to direct a movie. That's a lot of work. But I really enjoy acting and being in movies. So I'll go that route. In directing, I don't think I have enough experience to direct a movie. What is that? I just seen something that I passed over, and I wanted to... what was the weirdest moment? Michelle Hagen. What was one of my weirdest moments on the road off stage? There's so many, I don't even know where to begin. Everything's weird off the road, on the road. Your whole life is like one click to the left. Nothing is quite normal. It's almost normal, you have showers and food and people, but it's not quite like, your own bed and your own things. And so everything's always just like one click to the left. Let's see. Will I ever do another concert like the one in Las Vegas for the Unplugged type show? Okay, yeah, the acoustic show that we did. We're talking about it. We need to, I think, write some more acoustic stuff first. And I think now that Legends Rise expanded even more into the mainstream genre, in a sense, with songs like Bulletproof and Under Your Scars, I think it's opening up that door even more for us to go back in and do some kind of cool acoustic record. So I'm going to talk to the guys about that, and we'll visit that for sure. Glenn wants to know if I'm a big Tool fan. I am a big Tool fan. What do we got here? Are you planning on solo tour? I am, if I can get a solo record done. So that means none of you can give me shit anymore about not doing this every single week. I have to get some work done. And it takes a while to write a record. It'll take us at least 4 to 6 months to write the record, and then another 2 months to record it and mix it. So it's not a quick process. Art takes time. Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? What does this say? Justin D's asking me, Sully, you wear your heart on your sleeve. I know you've gotten some flack for songs as Under Your Scars, Different Kind of Tears. Those songs hit deep and close to home, and thank you deeply for those. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for loving those. I haven't got any shit about those songs, actually. I've actually had some pretty big, like, biker dudes come up to me, and they're like, Sully from Godsmack, and they want to just, like, crush me. And they're giant, and then they go, bro, Under Your Scars. And I go, I was a big burly biker guy, and like that's the song that hit him. I thought it would have been like, Time Bomb or Bad Religion, and it's that, so it's kind of funny. But I love that everyone's digging that stuff. It's cool. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we already did that. Hockey, okay. Joanne, I gotta know. Hockey, yes, I miss it. I love hockey. I love all sports. I've said that many times, but every time I get into sports talk, a bunch of people are like, ugh, their eyes start rolling. Ugh, sports talk. Here we go. So I'm not gonna bring up sports. We're gonna just talk about life today. What's my inspiration for writing the song Hollow? Okay, well, that's interesting that you brought that up because uh, this might be a good topic to touch upon. Hollow was written on the Four album, and as I had mentioned before, the fourth record, I was probably in one of the darkest times in my life because a lot of things were just kind of clashing at the same time. My drinking, my addiction, my abuse, all that stuff was really peaking because I was really sad in my home life situation. I had a relationship going that wasn't going well. I was struggling learning how to be a dad and trying to get that under control. And I was just not making great decisions in my life. And because of that, it was backfiring on me a lot. And I just felt very isolated at that time. I was very alone. So you want to talk about these episodes being about isolation and mental illness and depression and anxiety and those kind of things. Man, when I tell you I was probably at the peak of it at that time would be an understatement. It was just everything that, like every day that I got up just felt senseless to me, and I was really struggling with just finding a reason to live. And the band was working very hard. They were in the studio all the time, writing music, trying to get me in there. And I would show up at times and just lay on the ground looking up at the skylight with a microphone in my hand with 0 words. And this went on for weeks, And that was one of the songs that kind of was on that record. It was a very tough time for me. And I actually got a guitar right here, right now. You guys want me to play Hollow so you guys can hear these words? Maybe it'll help you. Let's see. Do I have a pick? I have a pick. So I haven't played this in a while, but I want to play this for you guys anyways. Ironically, before you asked that question, it was kind of one of the songs I wanted to do for you guys today because it's one of the songs that translates really well acoustically. But more importantly, for people that struggle with some of these issues and think that you're completely alone because you're in this black hole and you're just like down in the dumps, or everyone hits those moments. Some people are stronger than others, but some people sink into that and they don't know how to get themselves out. And so I've talked to you guys before about how to find outlets in your life to vent and to use therapeutically. And music became mine. And I also found that before I knew how to even be a lyricist, and I was just writing random stories about dumb things that made no sense, it wasn't until the day a friend of mine took his life and I found myself really crushed and sitting on my girlfriend's bedroom floor when she was at work, and I was really emotional, and I was writing in a journal about how he must have felt to actually go through with it and the kind of pain he must have been in, because I knew pain at that point, some pretty intense pain. I went through a lot of ups and downs in my life, things that crippled me at times. But somehow I found the strength to get back up and live another day and move on, right? But I started thinking, wow, I think I know what pain feels like, but how intense was his pain in order for him to actually go through with it? And so I was writing in a journal just about how he must have felt. And it became a song called Another Day. And till this day, I haven't recorded it yet. Maybe I will. But what it taught me was, because I immediately felt better after I vented and got this all on paper. And it was then when the light bulb went off and I started to realize how to be a lyricist and how to be a songwriter. And whether they were going to be good or bad, I was unsure. I was very inexperienced at that time. But I just knew whatever it was going to be honest. And from that point forward, the only way I started to write lyrics, is if it was something that affected me on an emotional level, good or bad. So I'll play you guys that song Hollow, and it goes like this. I hope I don't screw this up because I haven't played it in a while. Step and I could fall away. If it happened, would it matter? And I can't tell if I should go or stay. Same old picture feels so hollow. How can anybody know what's best for me? Another page I turn in shame. My decisions brought me to my knees. I needed someone to blame, and I feel so hollow. Oh yeah, I feel so hollow. Time to do what's best for me. I believe I can change. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Upon a time in broken dreams, reflections that I can't face. So hold your breath and make a wish for me. Take me to a better place. And time always seems to be passing by. It never waits for me. If I could do it all one more time, I wouldn't change a thing. And I feel so hollow. Oh yeah, I feel so hollow. Feel so hollow. For me, I believe I can change. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it. So if you guys were able to hear those words, you know that it probably came from a pretty dark place. Didn't probably come from, it definitely came from a very dark place. But yeah, that's what that was about, man. And, you know, I wish sometimes I had more uplifting songs, but I also feel like there's a lot of people that share the same kind of emotion, the same kind of, tragic experiences and the depression and the dark side and stuff like that, because it's part of human nature, you know? And so as much as sometimes when I look at my catalog and I look at all the music and I'm like, damn, man, I really like every song. Sometimes I'm playing an acoustic show and I go, fuck, it's just, I mean, every single song is just so dark. But I think if people understand that it comes from a dark place, but it's the music and the outlet that allowed me to get out of that place. So those songs became real healing songs for me. And over the years, I've gotten a lot of emails and messages from the people on how much it's helped them and how much it's helped them in their lives. And so, I think I don't have any regrets that a lot of the stuff has that kind of like vulnerable openness to it, because I think it takes that kind of honesty to connect with people like yourselves. To help you get through the stuff you're going through. And another thing I try to also do is I never try to be too direct about what I'm talking about. I generalize my lyrics a lot so people can translate them into their own life situations, as they should. So I never talk about someone's specific name or this exact thing, as I move through my words. I try to just express the emotion in that situation that I'm in. And I think that's why maybe a lot of you and fans in general have been able to connect to the lyrics, because they are generalized. So I hope that helps you guys a little bit. Lisa asked me if I'm about to cry, but I'm not. I'm good. I'm a little emotional today because I just watched a lot of footage and just, again, I feel good though. I feel really good. I feel good because I'm really grateful that all the stuff that I went through, the sacrifices that I made, the ups and downs, it came to this at the end, and I was able to take this gift that I had and share it with people that need this kind of uplift in their life. So, let's see. Okay, back to the questions. Asked everyone to end. What is this? Wowcrafter? I don't even know what that means. Has asked everyone to end the session with a song. Maybe I'll do one more. Let's get to some questions though while we're here chatting. Let's see. There's an Avalon question. So Ava wants to know: is Avalon? Am I violating any copyright law? My name is Avalon. Oh, my name is Avalon. She wants to know if she's violating. That's funny. Okay. Smart ass. You must be European. That was European humor. So let's tap into this a little bit. I told you guys I'd be honest with you. So Kelsey wants to know if I still practice paganism. And so here's where I'm at with that. So anybody who has read up on my life at all and knows what I'm about knows that I was born and raised a Catholic. Was even an altar boy when I was 10, 11 years old. But as I grew up and I got older, I started to not really... the stories started to become a little bit more fairy tale-ish to me than they were something I could have in substance to really follow the guidelines of the way of the Bible, for instance. And so I just started to kind of detach from that being so strict, because I didn't like the guilt that specific religion put on people. It was very kind of like this way or no way, right? You either believe in the ways of that or it's no way. And every other religion just kind of allows you to explore, find what's best for you. And so for me, it became about more spirituality, not about being guilted into believing into a certain God, a certain kind of religion. I didn't like that because I didn't like the consequences of knowing that, like, if you don't do it this way, you're going to hell with pitchforks and fire and demons and devils. And I'm thinking, wow, well, if your God is that good, then why would they want to put you down there with all that creepy stuff and burn you to death? Burn you? Like, don't burn me. Even when I go, I don't want to be burnt. Maybe a mausoleum, like, I don't know. Something about burning the body, not good. So that being said, I just neutralized myself, and I actually researched a lot of different religions. I read up on Buddhism, I read up on Native Americans, I read up on all different kinds. And what I found was most religions are the same in practicing the basics. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't kill anybody, don't betray, don't steal. And so I do think that in that sense that, even with Catholicism and stuff like that, it should be the basics, but don't guilt people because if you don't do it this way, you're going to burn in hell kind of thing. I don't know about that. And again, listen, I'm not claiming to be Mr. Expert in religions, but I do think I've done enough research in my life that I can say that, and it's why I've steered in one direction. So when I was turned on to the religion of witchcraft, right, which is Wicca, it was more of a Celtic-based religion, not in the paganism sense. But what I found about it that I really liked was there was no demons or devils and things like that. People hear the word witch and they immediately are like, whoa, this is goblins and ghouls and like it's satanic and whatever. They don't even have demons or devils in their religion, okay? So I'm going to get off of this in a second because I'm not going to like bore you guys to death with a big religious conversation. But I will just say that do your homework and explore, because it surprised the shit out of me when I actually read the first page, and that's what it said. In our religion, there is no demons or devils. We believe in karmic values. We believe that what you put out will come back to you. It's all based on energy. Witches back in the day were modern day doctors. They were the ones cropping the fields and harvesting and finding penicillin in mushrooms and finding aloe in leaves that healed your scrapes and cuts and burns, and medicines through herbs and plants and roots and stuff like that. So it was a very earthly based religion, very neutral, very much like Native America. And that's what kind of got me sucked into it. And then I practiced it for quite some time. But again, even though a lot of those, I take little tools from everything I've learned and I kind of create my own spirituality, which is something I practice every day. So I'm not this, I'm not that, and I'm not that. I am just a very neutral, spiritual person that believes in a higher power. I believe in the good of all. I believe in not harming anyone. But I do not follow the guidelines of one specific religion. And I even think the word religion's a little bit dirty and nasty. There's a lot of control in that word, so I'm going to just leave it there. Okay, let's see. Where do we go? Sorry if I missed a bunch of questions, but I'll try to catch up. Rick James wants to know what my time was like in Greenville, North Carolina. I actually spent more of my time in Fayetteville, North Carolina, when I was getting into a lot of trouble in Massachusetts as a young little adolescent punk. I got to the age of about 17 and a huge crazy thing went down at my house where a gang tried to come through my windows after me and all this stuff. And my mom, that was it, had enough. The rest you can watch on the documentary. But I moved to North Carolina and spent about 4 years there, gained a lot of new friends, found a lot more of my music because I was away from the city, the ghettos, the streets, and I had a brand new start. And so for that reason, I actually appreciate that whole area and helping me get out of the most dangerous part of my life. And Greenville was just a small piece of that. And I actually still have friends there that I talk to daily that, and I go and visit in the whole Kinston, Greenville. Todd Jackson, what's up? John Robbins, what's up? I know you're watching, you weirdo, creeping on me. Okay, next. Let's see. Zach has asked me if I had to teach myself how to play guitar. I did. The only musical instrument I have proper schooling on is drums when I was younger. Everything else has been self-taught. Piano, guitar, harmonica, and my crappy vocals. They were crappy. I think they've gotten better. Let's see. No. Sorry, just reading a little bit, trying to figure out some of these. A lot of them are the same. Nick is asking us what made us want to do the dueling drums. Well, being a drummer my entire life and having a badass drummer like Shannon in the band, it was just common sense to ramp this thing up and do something really incredible with drumming. So that's a quick answer for you. Marilo Burble. I hope I said that right. Marilo Burble wants to know what kind of microphone I use live. Pat is one of my audio techs. Watch this. Ready? Get in here.
What's up? All right.
Tell the man what the man uses live.
Man, your lead vocal is a Telefunken M80.
Come down. They don't want to see your boobs. They want to see your face. What is it?
Telefunken M80.
Okay.
And then your second
But
one.
that's the name of it? Telefunken?
That's what it is, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I put my finger in your mouth? COVID.
And then your special one is a. I don't actually know what that one is.
We're not going to tell them. That's a secret. That's a secret mic. That's the bullet mic. That's not a bullet mic, but it's a. There's a different capsule in that too. So there's a secret. There's two mics that I use. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's see. What's on my gym playlist and how much can you bench, squat, or deadlift? That was sent by Mikey PRS21. So here's that answer. I do not pick up and put down big, heavy things. That's not the kind of training I do. I do some kickboxing, and I do mostly boxing. Sometimes I want to change it up, so I'll stretch with Sarah's a really good kicker, actually, and our coach, Julio Pena, right here out of Londonderry, New Hampshire, is probably the best coach I've ever worked with. An amazing kickboxer. I just don't have the flexibility. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you. Let me see if I can dig this out real quick. This dude is 61 years old, 62 years old now, and comes into the gym at 8 o'clock in the morning, cold, no warming up, nothing, and can do this. Let's see. Look at this guy. He's such an ass. This is him. Wait, go away, little pictures. There we go. That's Julio Pena. 62 years old, cold. This is 8 o'clock in the morning. That's just because we had that machine there, and it's a stretching machine, but he doesn't even need that. He was just trying it out. That dude can literally walk in the gym, and I don't know if you ever seen like dancers, ballerinas. Not only can they go straight up in the air, but they can bow, so it goes beyond extension. He's fucking annoying. So annoying. I love him and I hate him. So, but anyways, that's the kind of training I do. I do endurance training. I do sport training. So even when I work with weights, I work with cable machines. I do a lot of jumps. I do a lot of like box jumps, light weights, cables, different exercises I've learned from different coaches along the way, even from ex-girlfriends that were athletes and worked with certain Olympic trainers and stuff like that. They teach you sport training. So it's not about slow and heavy and squeeze the muscle. It's about quick, lots of reps, keeps you, lean and tone and stuff like that. So there you go, Mikey, the muscle head. Mike Wisniewski wants to know what's the name of my documentary. We have a working title, but I'm not going to say yet in case it changes, because then I'd be giving you guys the wrong information. Okay. Answered that, and answered that. People are asking me a lot about concerts next year and what we're going to be doing. So I will leave it at this. We don't know. The world it's crazy right now. And I'm hoping it's getting better, but it's just crazy out there between COVID and then the protests and then the riots. And it just seems like these things are coming at us left and right very quickly. But I think what we could all say and project a little prayer for is that they say everything happens in threes. So maybe between COVID and the protests and the riot, we hit our 3. So maybe that's it. And it's going to heal from this point forward. I'm really, really happy that those. I don't want to. I'm trying to be neutral about some of this stuff because people have different opinions and I don't want to sway people one way or the other. But what I will say is what happened to George Floyd was fucked up, and I am really glad that they're prosecuting those cops because that's just not only a horrendous way to die, but so unjust and so fucking gnarly that I had a hard time watching that shit, man. So to me, I'm a people person, man. I don't care what color or race you are. I love everybody and I want everybody to get along. I just want them to be able to like get control of the violent people and the people that are exploiting the protests and stuff like that. So let's move on from that because that could go really hairy and I don't want to go down that road with you guys. But touring. So, back to that. So concerts next year, we're all hoping it's hard to say until we, are back to a place where people are comfortable with going out into venues again. The bands want to do it. Trust me when I say I've talked to enough artists now that like people like, dude, I want to play live. I miss it. And they're not freaked out by this thing in that sense. People are starting to move around now. I mean, and doing it responsibly. But, in order for this thing to end, we kind of need to move through it somehow in some way. We can't be locked up forever. So whether or not shows are going to happen at the end of this year, I don't know. We've opted out of that. Next year, we're in. Unless they tell us we can't or unless people don't show up, we're in. We're going to tour next year. We're going to write this year. We're going to deliver a record by the top of next year. And we're going to be out. I don't want to be home all the time. I want to be out touring with Godsmack, and I want to bring the solo band back out and have some fun with that. So I'm all about this, man. This is all about you guys and about population immunity and about population wanting to get out and, being okay with that stuff. And if I do this a lot, it's because I'm Italian, and so don't judge me. I talk with my hands all the time, and I just started seeing it in there's a monitor to my right, and I'm seeing my hands do this. Okay, let's see. Someone wants me to play Serenity on the guitar. I can't do that because I don't have the right guitar, but I will. I promise you, I'll do that on one of these shows. Maybe when I go to visit the guys, we'll get some live streams going and we'll do some stuff acoustically for you guys. That would be really cool. Let's see. Good. See, a lot of people are responding now and saying, that's right, everyone needs to just get along. Just take a breath, man. So one thing that I really enjoyed about George Floyd's attorney saying at the end, I wasn't sure if he was going to bring up certain things about, the knuckleheads out there doing this stupid shit. Not the protesters. That's all fine. That's all fine. It should be that way, We need to make change when it comes to that. But I was really impressed when he was just saying, like, let's take a breath for not only George Floyd that didn't get to take a breath, but for all this crap going on. If everyone just stops for a minute and exhales, maybe some of the craziness will stop. That's what I'm praying for, man. I want to get back to life. I want to get back to normalcy. Let's see. How did Shannon end up in the band? You'll see that on the Godsmack documentary eventually because that's going to come too. Jensen wants to know, what strings do you use to build a drop C? So in order to do drop C tuning or a drop D tuning, you tune your guitar standard like you normally would. E, A, D, G, B, E. On drop D, it's standard, right? That's called 440 standard tuning. So E, A, D, G, B, E. You just take the E string and you tune it down to D. And then instead of you having a bar chord like that, you would just play it with one finger and it'll sound the same as that. To do a drop C, where a drop D is standard tuning with just the E string drop down a D. A C tuning, you tune the whole guitar down a whole step. So instead of 440, you're in 430. Once you tune everything down a whole step, then you take your E string and drop it to C. And that's how that works. So we have like drop 35. We could have a tuning we call drop 35. Not that any of you care about that. Let's see. What's next here? Marty wants to know what I'm riding these days. I'm riding my only bike that I have, which is a 2005 Harley Ultra Classic. Let's see what else we got here. Question from Athos. Oh, wait, I don't want to lose this question. Shit. Way to go. Okay. How do you create your... What does that say? It's hiding behind an arrow. How do I create my vocal melodies? And another question. How do you create... Oh, he did it twice in a row. Okay. Okay, I got you, Athos. Athos. Sounds like a bad word, right? Fucking Athos. I'm just kidding. You have a great name. It's cool. What's your nationality, too, by the way? Throw that up. I'm curious. You have a long last name with a lot of E's and S's in it. Bresseleers. Holy crap. Brasileers. Brasileers. Let's go with that. Brasileers. Athos Brasileers. The way I come up with my melodies, most of the time it's music first, and then once I get a basic structure of the song front to back, I'll just start kind of doing, I think, what most singers and songwriters do, which is just humming melodies, you know, spitting out random vowels and sentences and that sometimes don't even make words. They're just kind of like sounds. And I think that is also part of the gift of music. It's like you don't really have to have words to write great melodies, but once I have a melody that's hooking for me, then I'll start to hear what my blah, blah, blahs are saying, right? Because like, this is what I'll do. I'll show you what I'll do. You guys are going to laugh. But also sometimes a melody will just come in words, and I'll have a melody before music. That happened with Voodoo. I actually wrote Voodoo with no music. I was on my way to practice, and within 20 minutes, this I'm not the one who's so far away came to my, and I just started doing this like chanting thing. And by the time I got to rehearsal, I was telling Tony and Robbie, I'm like, I have this whole thing laid out and no music. So I sang it to him, and Tony figured out what key it was in and all that and wrote the music, and Robbie wrote the bass line under it. But sometimes if I'm just, I don't know, if I'm writing something like, don't get on this down, latte and down on the home by the baby. And I don't even know what I'm saying nothing. I'm just, Town to Bristol, like Town to Viston. Does that fucking mean anything? But then I have to figure out words that go with those like consonants and vowels. Are you guys laughing? Are you learning something in there? Fucking Kamal, I know you want to be a songwriter. Actually, Kamal's a really good guitar player, way better than me. But that's what I do. I just make up like, bleh. I don't know how many other people do that, but then I got to find out what hometown to visiting. So I go hometown to visiting, right? So maybe that could work, and that's kind of how it starts. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Let's see. Okay, more questions. I was wondering... Someone's asking me if I've been inspired to write a song based on racism, and that's a no. Because racism doesn't inspire me. And I know you didn't mean it that way, by the way, Jay. I'll have to think about that one. I don't know, man. That's a bit gnarly of a topic for me to write a song about. It would have to be a song of peace. I certainly don't want to go down that rabbit hole. That metal dude wants to know if I still talk to the girl from the first record cover, the first Godsmack record. Can they see that? No, they don't have it. I'm gonna move it a little. Ready? Watch this. I'm gonna piss off Kamal. There it is, right there. Boom. So here's the story with that. Wait, am I back? Is that pretty good? Did I do a good job? I did good? Okay. So here's a cool story about that. Her name is Tony, and I found that image in a tattoo magazine. And she had a big tattoo on her shoulder. I'll show it to you again real quick, just so you can know what I'm talking about. So see how her whole shoulder's exposed? Yeah, you don't have to push in and get all fancy directing in there. I'm doing it. There was a tattoo on her shoulder, and I just really liked the image. I thought it was really striking, and so I found the photographer, and we bought the image and licensed it and all that stuff so we could own it. But I was so young and green at the time, I didn't really know what I was doing, and I certainly didn't know I was creating like this kind of iconic image. I just thought it was really striking. And by the way, I thought it was a dude, because back then it was the early to mid 90s, and I was really heavily into like Nine Inch Nails, and Jane's Addiction changed my life for a while. And I was into that kind of like just very weird, trippy kind of thing. And so when I was reading the interview on that picture, it kept saying, you know, when he did this and he did that and he, and I'm like, wow, that's a fucking dude. That's even cooler if that's a dude. So I used the image, and then I realized later when they were saying he, they were talking about the tattoo artist that did the tattoo on her shoulder. So anyways, we just kind of neutralized it by removing the tattoo and putting it on the album cover, because the first album cover was horrible. Do we have a picture of the first album cover? No? Okay. Yeah, find it while I'm talking, but it was terrible. So the first record that we recorded back in 90, it was actually in 97, is the same batch of songs that's on that record. We never re-recorded the songs. We just changed the artwork and put it back on the shelves 6 weeks later. But the first demo of this was called All Wound Up. And it was, I think at the time I used my girlfriend's sister. We put her in a chair and we wrapped her up with cassette tape and put her in front of a big widescreen TV, the old Hitachis that used to sit on the floor. And we had like smoke coming out of her hair, and we electrified. Oh my God, there it is. Back it up a little bit. Why is it so? Is it like, can you shrink it up a little? It's kind of cut off. Or is that's just the image? It's already cut off? Oh, it's my monitor. So that was one of my, it wasn't my girlfriend's sister, it was my girlfriend's friend's sister. And the name of the demo is All Wound Up. So we figured we'd wind her up with music, right? Is as if the stereo broke and the cassette tape started shooting out and wrapping her up. And then we teased her hair up and put smoke underneath her and whatever. And it was the dumbest fucking looking album cover ever. So cheap. But that same CD that you bought or could have bought back in 1997 is the exact same recordings that went onto the shelves 6 weeks after we signed a deal. We just took away that art and we put that art on it, and it became our first record. We never re-recorded it. We just remixed it, remastered it, put it back on the shelves, and it's the same exact recordings that we recorded over a weekend for $2,600 in the basement of a studio in Boston. So that's the story behind that. Rebecca is asking me if I will sing Running Blind. Yes, I will. I'll close the show with Running Blind. How's that? It's also another really healing kind of song for me. It was another point in my life. It was earlier than Hollow. And again, it was just about the struggles, man, and running around in circles blind, you know, just not being able to find my way. And it became another outlet for me, you know. And once again, rather than wrapping a noose around my neck, I wrote it on a piece of paper and I got through another day. And that other day became another song, and that other song has went on to heal me and, you know, millions of people across the planet. So for those reasons, I can never regret my past. And what else we got here? Hold on. Oh, that's going too fast. You guys type very quickly. So, so Rosie's asking me about tattoos and what they mean. So here's the thing about tattoos with me. I started at a very young age, And unfortunately, a lot of them didn't have any real relevance to them and sentimental meaning. And I really wish, everyone always asks me, do you regret getting them? I don't regret getting them. I don't regret the look of them. What I regret was being inexperienced when I was younger, and I had a tattoo artist that really liked me, and he used to give me stuff for free. And so I was just in a hurry to make myself look like a rocker, and I never put thought into it. So most of them were just very young, uneducated in tattoos. And now, by the way, you guys have gotten crazy good with tattoos. Dude, you know who I'm going to plug right now? I'm going to bust this out for you guys. There is... Give me 1 second here. I'm going to pull someone up that you need to check out. There is an artist from Russia that someone turned me on to. And till this day, I have never seen an artist this good. And I know there's a lot of you guys out there. But I want you guys to write down for Instagram the letter T like Tom, D like David, A like Apple, N like Nancy, tattoo. T Dan Tattoo. And check out the work that this guy has done. I will just give you a couple quickies so you can see how badass this dude is. So that's one of his pieces. But hold, please. Not even... some of the, I mean, I've seen some crazy, amazing pieces on here. Look at the work this guy does, man. It's so sick. It's so good. I think he's in California right now. Someone told me that he came in to the country, and I spoke to him a couple times, and I'm dying to do some work with this dude. But can you see that? The detail in the eyes. I mean... man, I got to tell you, they weren't doing tattoos like this when I was young. So look that dude up, follow him, man, and check out some of his pieces. Incredibly photogenic. And I really wish I would have known more about that kind of art before I just kind of, went and covered myself. So I have like the Psycho house. Can you see that? Let's see. Am I going the right way? It's like, it's so stupid. Everything's so... Hey, but you know what, man? It tells a story, and it was about a time... Look at the full moon. Where is it? Up there. And this long stairs and blah, blah, blah. Some of these were cover-ups, too. And that was from a movie that was called Innocent Blood. It's a vampire chick. It says Young Sweet Souls. I have my logo there, my solo logo, Sully solo logo, which was before it went into... I have one of my favorite rock bands ever, AC/DC. That was my first tattoo I ever got, my first real tattoo. It's Animal from the Muppets. It's not Oscar the Grouch. He's green. Stop saying Oscar the Grouch. Animal from the Muppets. I was 18 years old. That's when I first could legally get a tattoo, and that started this entire mess of things. But I will tell you that my most precious and sentimental tattoo of them all... Oh, and by the way, I'm going to show you something. You guys don't get all crazy on me. This right here is the prototype for the Godsmack tattoo. That is the original... Godsmack didn't have a logo yet, but we were looking for something, and I had done that a year before that or something. And my tattoo artist, Mike, who works out of Tattoo Fever in Pelham, New Hampshire, by the way, plug, he said, hey, man, why don't we revisit that sun that we did on your stomach and, like, simplify it, make it more symmetrical. So when you can see that, like, some of these tails right here are the first, like, woven tails like the Godsmack sun has. So we just took this design and we made it symmetrical. But my most sentimental, which is a pretty sentimental tattoo, but my most sentimental one is the photo of my daughter. That's a guy named Tony in Edmonton, Canada. Skleptic? Shit, I can't remember his last name. And he did, she's a little hairy right now. I got to shave. Sometimes if she makes me mad, I'll let just the hair grow in on the chin so she has a goatee, and she fucking snaps. She hates it. So that's it. Those are my boobs, and that's my daughter's face when she was like 6 or 7 years old. And so that's, I wish I did more meaningful stuff. And also this right here, I'm going to have this redone soon. I have a different idea for this, but if you guys can see this, I gotta kind of kneel up on this chair a little bit. So this tattoo right here is, it says The Elite, and it says 1% with an arrow pointing down. So my drummer Shannon and his drum tech Shane kind of came up with this whole concept. And what it means is less than 1%. And the reason why we all got it is because, and I believe Aaron Lewis from Stained has one too that he put on his hand. Shannon's is on his hand. And what it is that, so when the band became successful and we started to like really catch fire, we were presented with our first gold record from the first album. And the presidents of the label came to Boston and took us out to dinner and presented us with this really cool plaque. And at that moment is when I realized I kind of made it as a musician. And it was really cool because my whole life flashed before my eyes. It was all the blood, sweat, and tears of all the crap I went through my entire life. All the pain, all the tragedy, all the broken hearts, all the ups and downs, the struggles with the band after band after band, not making it, sleeping under people's porches, living off oodles and noodles, just a tremendous amount of years struggling to try to be a musician. And when that was handed to us, it was really the first time that I was like, wow, that's my whole life right there and behind that piece of glass. And it was just a really proud moment. But the label guys had told us, do you realize how much of an accomplishment? And we were like, yeah, it's amazing. It's a gold record. He's like, forget about that. Right? And for those of you who don't know, when you go gold, that means you sold 500,000 copies. Platinum is 1 million. But they said, no, forget about the sales. Like, we signed maybe, at the time, this was, again, mid to late 90s, 1,000 to 2,000 bands a year may get signed. Less than 1% of those bands ever goes on to make a second record. They get dropped. And less than one of the bands that do go on to even have some kind of a career or do a second record ever go gold. So we're in this very, very, very tiny elite group of these less than 1%ers, and that's kind of the meaning behind that. All right, back to the questions. So what time we got here? 7:20. Hang a little longer, right? We're good. All right, let's get some questions going here. Phil Mead wants to know what the most emotional, draining song for me to perform is. God, that's a good one, man. I don't know. There's so many that hit me in different ways for different reasons, and I think that really is dictated by where I'm at in my life. If I'm going through some really tough stuff and I sing certain songs that hit me a little harder than others, there's a song called "Don't Comfort Me" that I put on my last solo record. That was a tough one to get through on stage live at times, because it's so raw and came from such a. And the other one, I have it now. I know. So the hardest song that for me to get through on stage is on the Avalon record. It's called "My Light," which is a song that I wrote inspired by my daughter. When she was born, it really made me realize that she took away my selfishness. She took away all the immaturity of me, going from a boy to becoming a man at that point, or at least trying to be. I was new. I was scared shitless to be a dad, and she's a little girl, right? And so all I want to do is protect her. And but as she grew and as I grew with her, I slowly but surely started to realize that, like, I don't wake up every morning and think about myself. The first day that she was home from the hospital was the first day in my entire life that I woke up. And I remember, and I don't mean selfishness in a bad way, but I mean, every day we have stuff to do, so we wake up and we go, I got to go to the post office, then I got to hit the grocery store, then I got to go do this, and then I got to go do that. That's just human nature, right? But when she came home from the hospital, that next morning was the first morning I woke up, and as soon as my eyes opened, I went, baby, there's a baby in the house, we have to feed the baby. Like that's all I remember. And later that day it hit me. I go, wow, I think that might have been the first day in my entire life where I woke up and I didn't think of myself first. And at that point, things started to change for me dramatically. So there's a song called My Light, and it's kind of a father's promise to the daughter to never abandon her, to love her unconditionally, and always be there as her best friend for the rest of her life, for the rest of both of our lives, and eternity beyond that. And that's what that song's about. And so when I play it live, there's a bit of a montage that I show of Skylar growing up from a baby into becoming a young woman. And I can't even glance at the fucking video screen. If I'm singing that song and I happen to catch a piece of me with her when she was little, going down slides and different things, I can't even sing it. I get so choked up and teared up that it's that. You guys understand. I'm sure there's a lot of parents on this chat right now that understand that very well. So that's the most emotional one. Okay. Ava wants to know if I ever told my daughter to turn down the music when she was growing up. Never, ever came out of my mouth. Well, maybe a couple of times I had to have her turn it down a little bit because I was in the middle of watching something and it was really competing, because that girl can bump tunes like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I got her this crazy big Bluetooth, Marshall boom box thing, and the thing is loud, man, and her bedroom isn't far from my living room. And when she's in there with her friends and they're jamming, dude, it's fucking like, wow. So, but never out of like, turn that shit down. I don't want to hear that crap. I've always encouraged my daughter, and she comes from a music family. So I want music in her life, and she has it in her life to the full extent, only in a different way. She hasn't gone down that road of wanting to be a musician or a singer yet. That may change. I don't know. But if she doesn't, that's totally fine with me, because I love her unconditionally, and no matter what she wants to become, I will support her till the day I die. As long as she's responsible and treats people good, the basics, then I have no problem with what she listens to and how she absorbs music. Because for her, music is extremely important, like it is to me. Only she hears it and experiences it a different way than I do. And sometimes in similar ways, but more, she's amazing at picking out songs that are about to break that haven't broke yet. I cannot tell you how many songs that girl has said, Dad, listen to this, and it hadn't broke yet, and next thing you know, it's on the radio, and it's like Someone Like You by Adele, and I'm like, holy shit, it's a massive global hit. She's just got a good sense for picking out. Her and her mom actually are really good with that stuff. They just kind of hear things before they pop. Someone just asked me, out of all the instruments I play, which is my favorite one. Drums, probably, and piano. Both rhythmic, and really, I don't know, I just enjoy both of those. I don't know who this is that's asking. It's just a couple of dashes, but they're asking me, what have I ever done that I'd like to take back? What have I ever done that I'd like to take back? And also, why did I renounce Wiccan? I didn't renounce anything. I hold all of that stuff inside of me, and I pull out the pieces and bits that I need, that I've learned along the way. I'll give you a perfect example so this makes sense to you guys. Bruce Lee started as a fencer. That's how he got his footwork. And then he started martial arts, and he started with karate. And then he was like, oh, I like this and I like that, but I don't like when they do this and I don't like when they do that. So he would extract pieces of karate. Then he would go to martial arts, or different kind of, not taekwondo, but, some different style of martial arts. And I like this, and I like this, and I don't really care about that stuff. And eventually created his own style. And that's why he was one of the greatest in the world when it came to martial arts, because he picked and chose through everything that he explored and created his own thing. And that's kind of how I am with the spirituality. So along the way, I've learned and I've groomed myself, and I can speak from an unignorant place, unlike some other people that want to push certain things on you, and they just come from a place of that boxed in kind of religion or spirituality, and they don't want to explore. That's it. They're set in their ways, and that's what they're believing, and they're going to push that on you. Those are the kind of people I can't do. That's not how I do it. So I've taken a little bit of this, that, and the other thing from all the different things I've learned, and I've created my own spirituality. So I honor, the Wiccan religion. I honor the Christianity. I honor Buddhism. I honor Hindu. I honor Native Americans. I honor so many different styles, but little piece of this, little piece of that, and what I don't go for, I push that out, and I group it up, and that's how I come up with my belief system. And no matter what, I follow the basics. I don't believe that if you are just being a good person, live your life. This is my rule. Live your life the way you want to live it and harm no one. If you live by that, you can't really do anything wrong. How could someone punish you after life if there is an afterlife? If you lived your life the way you wanted to, but it harmed no one. And that's ultimately my belief in that. Okay, we're going to wrap it up in a second because I'm getting hungry. I want to go eat. And I promised you guys one more song. And Joey Colt wants to know if Skylar ever plays Godsmack around the house. Never. She's into a lot of different kinds of music, and I do know that she loves me and respects the music I play. And she's actually one of the people that I bounce songs off of when I have a new song. Like, she was one of the first people I played Bulletproof for, her and her mom, when it was finished, even recorded and mixed and all that. I just wanted some outside opinions because it was a new kind of song, and I wasn't sure how the fans were going to react to it. So I trust their opinion a lot, and especially Skylar's. So, but no, she doesn't walk around the house cranking Godsmack songs, nor would I let her. I don't even walk around the house playing Godsmack songs. All right, let's do one more, man. Where's Mike Wozniak? I have no idea. I think he lives in Wisconsin, and I love that dude. And if you're watching, Mike, I love you, bro. And we should do some more tours together. There's a spot open. Call me. He was one of our old security directors that worked with us when we were out with Metallica, and then he came over to our side when Metallica took a break. John Costco, you're fucking funny. Remember, so here's a quick story. He says, remember when Skylar swallowed a penny and we were in Hawaii? So we were in between the, what was it? The Faceless, no, we were just about to do the Faceless record. No, we put out the Faceless record, toured with Metallica, and then we did drop this acoustic EP. But when we were writing, we convinced the record label, because we had been touring for so long at that point, years and years and years of straight touring, didn't see my house, hardly seen my family, just insane amount of touring. And the label was like, we said, we're going to take a break. And they were like, oh, okay, but maybe you can record that acoustic stuff you've been working on. We're like, dude, we need to break because we haven't come off the road in a very long time and we're burnt out. And we, as a band, had never been to Hawaii personally. None of us had. And so we were thinking about, we were able to save up a little bit of money from all the touring we did. And we're like, that could be a cool vacation, a cool break. After all these years of touring, the record cycle's over. Let's go to Hawaii and just vacay. And then the label's like, no, go record this record. We're like, fuck, we don't want to go into a studio. We want to go on vacation. So somehow we convinced the record label to pay for our trip to Hawaii, and we'd record the acoustic album in Hawaii. So that record that you guys know called The Other Side, it's an EP of acoustic songs. We recorded in Hawaii, and at that time I was working with John Costco and his guitar player Lee, and he was in a band called Dropbox that we ended up signing to Universal. And they came out there with us because we had wrote a song called Touché, and we were going to record it together, Godsmack and Lee and John. And so that's where that was all done. But while we were in Hawaii, Skylar was 2, I think, at the time, and had picked up a penny and swallowed it. And so Jen, rushed her to the hospital and had done x-rays and all that stuff and had told me, what happened. And because I was in the studio working, I believe. It was a while ago. I don't remember it exactly, but I do remember that she had a penny in her belly, and there was nothing we could do about it. The doctor said, just give it a day or so and she'll poop it right out. And so Jen was digging through baby poop for a day or so, and eventually it came out, and she passed it, and that was that. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Okay, one more, and then I'm going to jam a little bit, play you guys Running Blind, and then we're out. So, okay. Not answering that question. It's a little bit personal. Yeah, Italians really do use their hands a lot. Hey, oh, you see when I make the pizza, boom. Come on, give me one more good one and we're out of here. La la la. Oh wow, they started flying in. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Oh, give me something. I know a lot of the people are asking me how to make it in music and all this stuff. It's a hard question for me to answer, so I'm gonna pass that one. I'm sorry. It's just times are changing and everything happens differently. So I can't tell you the way we did it would work for you. It's just get out there and play, man. I'm gonna scroll right to the bottom and stop it right here. Let's see. Wow, I really can't find a question. It's a lot of just. Okay, we're gonna end here. Jensen wants to know if I've ever thought of trying to sing rap in songs like alternative bands. Let me just tell you this. I can't rap to save my fucking life. I've tried by myself when no one's looking in the house alone so I didn't embarrass myself. And I fucking embarrassed myself with myself. That's how bad I rap. For someone that has as much rhythm as I have, being a trained drummer my entire life, and everything I do is percussive. The guitar riffs I write are percussive. I'm not an amazing guitar player. I just learned enough to know how to write riffs, and I'm very percussive. Piano, percussive. Vocal rhythms, percussive. Everything I do is rhythm. I should be amazing at fucking rapping, and I am. Oh, you don't want to hear me. I can't even think of words that fast. These guys do that shit off the cuff. Fucking all the power to them, man. That's an art in itself that is amazing and brilliant, but I can't do it. Now, any of you rappers out there that are watching this, or hip hoppers, not only have I learned a lot of new hip hop and rap from my daughter because she loves that stuff, and actually grown fond of some of it. I'm telling you right now, I'll be more than happy to write a song with you guys and write the hook and write some beats with you, and you can do the fucking rapping. I'll sing the choruses, you do the rapping, and I'll help you guys create beats, because that's something I'm badass at. But don't ask me to fucking rap, because I can't do it. All right, guys, listen. It's time for me to go. I'm going to leave you with a song. Thank you for hanging out. I'm glad everybody's doing really well. I haven't seen any bummers on here today. I haven't seen any people that are just, bitching and complaining and whatever. So that's a good thing. Do I like chocolate cake or cheesecake? Chocolate, Kelly. Chocolate. I am a chocoholic. And by the way, my girlfriend brought home these new mochi ice creams. Have you guys ever had mochi? Fucking you kidding me? One of them is s'mores mochis. Dude, if you haven't had mochi ice cream yet, go find mochi. It's fucking... You're gonna go down that hole. That's a dark hole to go down, man. Other than that, yeah. So I'm also, again, I'm gonna remind you guys, I'm putting together some performance stuff for you guys. It's gonna be pre-recorded, so I'm just gonna let you know that. Aaron Lewis from Stained is gonna be on with me next. He agreed to come on the show. Probably do that on Tuesday. And then I'm hoping that Thursday or maybe soon after that, we'll see how it goes. We're putting together as much as we can for you guys, and I'm waiting on some pieces. But I want to be able to maybe host a show that's just performances. I'm going to do something cool as a trio with me and my one of my musicians that played with me on Avalon and on Hometown Life, which is Chris Lester. And one of my best friends, Jimmy Mustafa, his wife, Mairead, who is the lead or was the lead violin player for Celtic Woman. She's an amazing violinist. She's going to be with us, so we're going to do a cool little trio thing, and I'm going to try to bring in some performances from like Brent from Shinedown and Zach and Nuno and, different people like that. So I'm hoping that Aaron will give us a song as well, because he'd be great to have on that. So... Kimberly said I messaged Aaron. Good. Get him to send me a piece of music because we need that. All right, so last one. I'm going to play you guys a song called Running Blind. It's on the acoustic EP we were just talking about. Let me wet my whistle. It's a song that was written when I was on tour and I was really struggling. This was now... 2 records in. We had toured on the first record for almost, it had to have been 2 years straight, 3 years straight. Then we wrote and recorded the Awake album while we were touring on the first record. So we never stopped touring. We just kind of changed the set list and started playing the stuff from Awake along with the first record. And so that became one long tour between the first and second record. I don't think I seen my bed for almost 4 years. And it was 9/11 that happened that snapped us out of that kind of phase of just becoming robotic and just touring constantly. And when you're out on the road that long, a lot of things happen because you start to depend on things to keep you awake and things to keep you inspired to go on stage every night because your body becomes exhausted and the show must go on, right? We were doing 7 shows in a row, 1 day off. 9 shows in a row, 1 day off. 11 shows in a row, 1 day off. So you do that for 3 or 4 years straight, it'll drive anyone crazy as much as you love what you do. And I just became a product of my environment, and I just became detached from society. And I was drinking a lot, and I went into some really dark places because the band wasn't getting along. We were fighting a lot and on the road and that kind of stuff. But long story short, instead of doing the selfish thing and breaking up like a lot of bands do when they hit those challenging moments, we went out and we got some help, worked with a therapist, and slowly but surely regained and found our brotherhood again and decided to work through it and stay together and get over those mountains. So this song reminds me of that time because it was in those dark times that I wrote this song. I was in my dressing room by myself, and the guys weren't talking. None of us were really talking to each other. And we were just doing show after show after show. And I remember feeling really alone. I remember feeling like I was running in circles, not knowing which way to go. And the alcohol and all that stuff had got to me and just created a really dark space for me. So I'm going to play this song, and then I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. It's a song called Running Blind. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Keep your heads up. Stay strong. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And we're going to get through this whole thing together with COVID and the protests and the riots and all that stuff. Stay positive, man. Send out good energy, all right? What you put out there comes back to you. Remember that. That's how the universe works. All right. been crawling on my knees, looking for anything to keep me from drowning. Promises have been turned to lies, can't even be honest inside. Watching my life wave me goodbye, running blind, running blind. Somebody help me see I'm running blind. Searching for nothing, wondering if I'll change, but I'm trying everything, and everything still stays the same. Promised and told you I could fly, wouldn't need anyone by my side. With broken wings I know I'll die. Yeah, I'm running blind, running blind. Somebody help me see I'm running blind, running blind, running blind, running blind. Oh! Can't find the answers. Been crawling on my knees, looking for anything to keep me from drowning. I'm running blind, running blind. Oh yeah, I'm running blind, running blind, running blind, running blind. That's it, guys. I'm gonna head out, grab some food. See you all on Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out. Peace. Love ya.